Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're continuing to explore art exhibits in London during Frieze Week. You can always watch my videos in any order, but if you do want to watch part 1 of my video of the Frieze Art Fair itself, I will leave that linked in the description box for you. And I also have a Substack where I will be writing more detailed commentary about my travels to London and Paris. So I'll leave that linked for you all as well if you want to check it out. After a really beautiful morning in Hyde Park, we are heading back to Mayfair, and our first stop is going to be Pace Gallery. This is an exhibit of works by the Sao Paulo-based artist Sonia Gomes. Gomes is known for her sculptural works that combine found objects, textiles, and hand stitching to explore memory, identity, and the body. The show's title translates in English to "One Must Not Be Afraid to Create." And the title is taken from Clarice Lispector's 1943 novel, Near to the Wild Heart, and it reflects Gomez's openness to experimenting with new materials and techniques in this exhibit. The show is curated by Paolo Miata, and it is also Gomez's first exhibit in the UK. In general, Gomez's art is rooted in her Afro-Brazilian heritage and shaped by her experience growing up as the daughter of a Black mother and a white father in southeastern Brazil, in one of the many towns famous for their role in Brazil's gold rush era. She draws on craft traditions passed down through generations, transforming found and gifted materials like fabrics, lace, wood, and wire into these really beautiful, organic, abstract sculptures that honor memory and resilience. Her creation process is very purposeful, so her acts of sewing, wrapping, and binding reclaim practices historically dismissed as kind of women's work, transforming them into gestures of healing and empowerment that give new life to overlooked materials and untold histories. In this show, Gomes has also created bronze sculptures for the first time that are casts of textile wrapped tree burls and branches, and they're meant to, quote, highlight the tension between vulnerable materials and elevated finishes. Our next stop is Stephen Friedman Gallery, who I embarrassingly haven't been to their London space. I have only been to their space in Tribeca, but it is a beautiful space, so I highly recommend visiting if you are in London. This is an exhibit of new paintings by Franco-Senegalese artist Alexandre Diop. Diop is a multidisciplinary artist. He's a dancer, a musician, alongside his visual art, and they all really influence one another, especially in the way that they explore, quote, relationship between movement and time, represented by dance or migration. The show is titled Run for Your Life, which is meant to be a, quote, invitation to stand for change, show tolerance, and be alert to crises around the world. Personally, one of my favorite things about Diop's work is his diverse use of materials. You really have to look at them for long periods of time to appreciate everything that's hidden in them. And to create this unique assemblage, he takes materials from scrapyards, streets, and derelict buildings, and then, quote, transforms them through an intensive process of layering, burning, tearing, stapling, and collaging onto wood panels. Thematically, Diop's work explores both the inner self and the wider world, using layered drawings and paintings that merge human and animal forms. He reflects on emotion, movement, and introspection, inviting viewers to see parts of themselves in his figures. And at the same time, his work confronts larger systems of power and injustice, turning his figures into symbols of resilience and resistance that reimagine history and fight for freedom. We're now going to head right across the street to Alison Jacques Gallery, another London gallery I've never had the privilege of visiting until now. I absolutely loved their booth at Frieze London, especially the works by Sagarika Sundaram, who has a solo show here today. Sundaram was born in India and lives and works in New York, and this is her first exhibit in the UK. We have lots of firsts today, which is very exciting. And as you can see, Sundaram creates these, quote, painterly sculptures or textile painting created from these beautiful natural raw fibers. Sagarika Sundaram's process is deeply tactile and transformative. She shapes wool into felted textiles through a meticulous process of dyeing, tearing, and compressing raw fiber, and she then cuts in the surface to reveal hidden forms within. So this act of opening becomes both physical and symbolic, evoking ideas of release, emergence, and renewal. Rooted in early experiments with batik in India and refined through years of material exploration, her practice reflects a dialogue between control and intuition. Color, which she describes as alchemy, is also central to the process, very precise yet instinctive. Another reoccurring theme across her work is the mandala, which becomes a framework for transformation, integrating body, space, and spirit. And in breaking open its structure, Sundaram not only sculpts materials, but also shapes space itself, inviting viewers into this meditative balance between containment and expansion. I absolutely love the work in this room and how it is placed. It's very cheekily called point of view. It almost feels like a modern chapel. It's just divine the way that it hangs from the ceiling and that you're forced to look up and acknowledge its splendor. Our next stop is Massimo de Carlo Gallery, whose space is small but so beautiful. No matter what they have on view, I just love visiting it. This is an exhibit of works by Lenz Geerk. Lenz Geerk is a Swiss-born, Dusseldorf-based painter known for his introspective, emotionally charged scenes that explore solitude and the subtleties of human behavior. So, through restrained palettes and quietly expressive gestures, he captures fleeting psychological states, so moments of reflection, tension, and tenderness suspended in time. The show is titled November, and it features a series of works that are meant to capture the, quote, experience of uncertainty and the persistence to keep going. So some examples of this are works of fruit starting to bruise and mold, or an individual getting a haircut. I also love how the gallery describes his works as, quote, humane in their attention to survival, small rituals, minor displays, private doubt staged with lucid intensity. November is a season where mold is luminous, vulnerability monumental, and humanity carries on against the odds. Our next and final stop of this video is at Pilar Corrias Gallery to see an exhibit of works titled The Sleep of Tomorrow by Sabine Moritz. Sabine Moritz is a German artist known for paintings and drawings that blend memory, history, and emotion. She was raised in East Germany, and she draws on personal and collective experiences, moving between abstraction and figuration, until now, hint, hint, to explore themes of time, transience, and remembrance with this really beautiful, quiet intensity. This exhibit highlights an interesting shift in Moritz's practice. In it, she's bringing abstraction and figuration onto one canvas, and she usually keeps them separate. So Moritz's abstract paintings have usually evoked memory, suggesting things like landscapes, sensations, and fragments of experience. And then her figurative works, in contrast, center on female forms that reference both classical painting and then her own experience of womanhood. When these two approaches merge, they reflect distinct yet connective states of being. So you have one rooted in recollection and emotion, the other grounded in the immediacy of the self. And together they form this interesting dialogue between inner and outer worlds, between what is remembered and what is actually lived. The exhibit continues downstairs with over 20 small works on paper that are small, but equally as powerful, in my opinion, as the larger works upstairs. And that is all for this video, but don't worry, I still have one more video featuring art exhibits in London to share with you all. So make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss it. And I will see you all in my next one before we head to Paris.